and girls, good morning. Happy Tuesday. I just wanted to say hi. I wish I could give you all a really big hug right now. Wish we were in class together, but we're getting through this together. I was so excited to start Hoover Hangouts yesterday, and I talked with Emily and Oliver, and I saw Hein there in the background. I talked with Ryder, I talked with Jake, I talked with Mark, I talked with Ethan. It was just really fun to see your faces. So I'm looking forward to those meetings today and for the rest of the week. I can't wait to see you and hear about what you've been doing and just check in. But I just wanted to take a minute before I start reading Because of Winn-Dixie to kind of go through your assignments. So your assignments today are pretty similar to everything that we've been doing. You should be familiar with it. You should have been really familiar with your Charlotte's Web assignment on character traits from yesterday. Why? Well, because that last day that we were in class on Friday before we left, you had typed up basically the same thing on the character of your choice. So you know this. You're a pro at character traits. So you know how big I am about that evidence. So you really need to go back if you need to and make sure that you have strong evidence to support the character trait that you've chosen. Today, though, you're taking a break. You're just reading and filling out some of your packet. The other thing that I am going to be uploading is another math video, just modeling the lesson for today. It's very similar to yesterday's lesson. Not too many big surprises, but I want you to have it just in case. Please watch the videos. Even if you feel like you know it, sometimes I add a few things in there. Like I know that in yesterday's math assignment, it asked you to find data on the class. Well, we're not with all your classmates right now, and I said, just make up the numbers. That's fine. As long as you have 24 students, that's all that I need from you, and that was in the video. So please take the time to watch them. They are helpful, and you get to hear my lovely voice. So keep an eye out for that. Other than that, I did put in some optional challenge assignments. So if you're just getting through these things really quick, one, you know I'm going to ask you to slow down, go back and check your work. It's not about the speed that you get it through, and I want you to have high quality work, right? We always talk about that effort. But two, there's some optional challenges that you can go ahead and work on if you feel that you have that extra time. So after telling you all of that, I am going to read our next chapter of Because of Winn-Dixie, chapter 15. Okay, I'm excited to see what happens. The Herman W. Block Memorial Library's air conditioning unit didn't work very good, and there was only one fan, and from the minute me and Winn-Dixie got in the library, he hogged it all. He lay right in front of it and wagged his tail and let it blow his fur all around. Some of his fur is pretty loose and blew right off him like a dandelion puff. Oh, there's another simile there. It's comparing his fur to the dandelions. You know, that kind of puff up and that white goes everywhere. A lot of people are allergic to that. I worried about him hogging the fan, and I worried about the fan blowing him bald. But Miss Franny said not to worry about either thing, that Winn-Dixie could hog the fan if he wanted, and she had never in her life seen a dog made bald by a fan. Sometimes when Miss Franny was telling a story, she would have a fit. There were small fits, and they didn't last long. But what happened was she would forget what she was saying. She would just stop and start to shake like a little leaf. And when that happened, Winn-Dixie would get up from the fan and sit right at Miss Franny Block's side. He would sit up tall, protecting her, with his ears standing up straight on his head like soldiers. And when Miss Franny stopped shaking and started talking again, Winn-Dixie would lick her hand and lay back down in front of the fan. Whenever Miss Franny had one of her fits, it reminded me of Winn-Dixie in a thunderstorm. There were a lot of thunderstorms that summer, and I got real good at holding on to Winn-Dixie whenever they came. I held on to him and comforted him and whispered to him and rocked him just the same way he tried to comfort Miss Franny when she had her fits. Only I held on to Winn-Dixie for another reason too. I held on to him tight so he wouldn't run away. It all made me think about Gloria Dump. I wondered who comforted her when she heard those bottles knocking together, those ghosts chattering about the things she had done wrong. I wanted to comfort Gloria Dump, and I decided that the best way to do that would be to read her a book. Read it to her loud enough to keep the ghosts away. And so I asked Miss Franny. I said, Miss Franny, I've got a grown-up friend whose eyes are going on her, and I would like to read her a book out loud. Do you have any suggestions? Suggestions, Miss Franny said. Yes, ma'am, I have suggestions. Of course, I have suggestions. How about Gone with the Wind? What's that about? I asked her. Well, I'm seeing so many quotations in this book. I wish I could show you, but they're the other way around if I held the book up. But I know you know where all these quotations go, don't you? What's that about? I asked her. Why, said Miss Franny, it's a wonderful story about the Civil War. The Civil War, I said. Do not tell me you have never heard of the Civil War. Miss Franny Block looked like she was going to faint. She waved her hands in front of her face. I know about the Civil War, I told her. That was the war between the South and the North over slavery. You already know this, boys and girls, right? Slavery, yes, said Miss Franny. It was also about states' rights and money. It was a terrible war. My great-grandfather fought in that war. He was just a boy. Your great-grandfather? Yes, ma'am, Litmus W. Block. Now there's the story. Winn-Dixie yawned real big and lay down on his side with a thump and a sigh. I swear I knew that phrase. Now there's the story, and he knew it meant we weren't going anywhere real soon. Go ahead and tell it to me, Miss Franny, I said, and I sat down cross-legged next to Winn-Dixie. I pushed him and tried to get him to share the fan, but he pretended he was asleep, and he wouldn't move. I was all settled in and ready for a good story when the door banged and pinch-faced Amanda Wilkinson came in. Winn-Dixie sat up and stared at her. He tried out a smile on her, but she didn't smile back, and so we lay down again. I'm ready for another book, Amanda said, slamming her book down on Miss Franny's desk. Well, said Miss Franny, maybe you wouldn't mind waiting. I'm telling India Opal a story about my great-grandfather. You are, of course, more than welcome to listen. It will just be 1 minute. Amanda sighed a real big dramatic sigh and stared past me. She pretended like she wasn't interested, but she was, I could tell. Come sit over here, said Miss Franny. I'll stand, thank you, said Amanda. Suit yourself, Miss Franny shrugged. Now where was I? Oh yes, Litmus W. Block. I think you can think of a character trait for Amanda, and I don't know if it's as positive as what you might have thought of for Fern, but we'll find out what happens in Chapter 16 tomorrow. But it starts off saying Litmus W. Block was just a boy when the firing on Fort Sumter occurred. So I think we're going to get into a story, a war story. Logan, Ethan, Mark, I feel like this one's going to be for you. So keep in touch. Listen to the math video I'm going to post. All right? Talk to you later. Bye, guys.